delve a little deeper into ICS cybersecurity. As Sid said, we've been doing this for 10 years, the cybersecurity workshops. It doesn't seem that long, but it has. And the purpose of this workshop, and I'm not Eric, obviously. Eric got delayed. He had some weather delays flying out of Detroit. So I'm Larry O'Brien. I'm a member of the cybersecurity team here at ARC. A lot of you guys might remember me from the process control team at ARC, which I still have one foot in process control, but now I'm also part of the cybersecurity and smart cities team at ARC. And the purpose of this workshop is to present and discuss trends and developments specific to ICS. We are going to talk about standards, practices, and guidelines. I think as a lot of people already mentioned today, practices and work processes and procedures are probably just as important, if not more so, than technology, which we all love to talk about. But if people don't know how to use that technology effectively, in a manner that's going to benefit the enterprise, then we're all going to be in trouble. Let's see if this thing works. Okay. The reality today, I think we've been up here for, as long as we've been up here having this cybersecurity workshop, we've been talking about cybersecurity standards, cybersecurity architecture models, and you can see that on the left side of the screen here where we show, the zone concept and everything. So you'd think after all this time, everybody would have all their ducks in a row, as far as having everything, conforming to the standards and so forth. Of course, that's not true, right? And I think with the advent of industrial Internet of Things, or IoT, or whatever you want to call it, and all these other new technologies that are coming, it's making the problem a lot more difficult. And I've always characterized IoT as the Wild West, and I see Eric's doing the same thing here in his slides. So the reality is very different, from what we like to portray to the rest of the world. Expectations and requirements are evolving too. I'm not going to speak too in-depth to Eric's slide here, but one of the things that I've been talking a lot about with Eric at ARC in recent months is device-level security. We can't assume that all devices are secure. That includes process devices as well as this new generation of IoT or IIoT devices, which in many cases are even less secure. So I think a lot of these evolving industrial cybersecurity requirements are going to involve devices a lot more. They're going to involve procedures and practices a lot more, and other new aspects that we haven't really talked much about in the past. It's good to have maturity models, and Sid showed this cybersecurity maturity model earlier. This is the ARC cybersecurity maturity model. There's other models out there as well, and I think we might get a little bit into that in our presentation here today. So really what we're going to discuss is where have we come from in our response to this cybersecurity problem? How can we increase awareness of what's available now and resources available now? And I think we saw some of that earlier, which was very good. We're shifting focus just from talking about standards, which in many cases I think, for a lot of people can be kind of arcane, right, and tough to apply in the real world. I know, coming from process control and process safety, we're always talking about ISA 84 and IE 61511 safety standards, and everybody, I think, does their best to apply those standards in the plant. But if you go to a lot of plants and major installations today, you'll probably find that that's not really the case in the real world. So we're shifting from standards to guidance and actual practices. We want to be able to objectively assess our progress in that regard, and how can we simplify and demystify this subject. And of course, we want a lot of good questions, from the audience during this. We have 3 excellent speakers today. I'm not going to read the whole bio. As Sid said, those bios are available in your forum app or in your forum program. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce the first speaker, who is Keith Stauffer from NIST. So please join me in welcoming Keith.